The inquiry landed with the force of a freight train. You must appreciate what is truly unbelievable regarding AOC. Donald Trump commanded center stage within CBS Studio 57 during primetime, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. 400 individuals were squeezed into a space intended for only 300. It was hot and tense. Half of the crowd was wearing MAGA hats. The other 50% were sporting AOC merchandise. Everyone was geared up for a confrontation. Cameras were positioned everywhere. 10 million American citizens were watching from their homes, and perhaps even more were streaming it live via social media platforms. Margaret Brennan stood situated between Trump and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, trying to give the impression that she controlled the situation. She did not succeed. Trump leaned forward, projecting that commanding New York executive energy, direct, forceful, and the type of presence that fills a room whether you want it to or not. She shows up here in a designer dress that costs more than what most residents of Queens make in a month, yet she wants to lecture me about helping the working class, he stated. He paused, letting the statement hang in the air for 5, then 10 seconds. The crowd began shifting, whispering with the volume rising. That is rich. Actually, no, she is wealthy, and that is the real issue. Let's talk about exactly that. AOC shifted slightly in her seat, managing to stay composed and maintaining her poise. She wore that specific expression she gets whenever she believes she is the smartest person in the vicinity, the exact look that communicates, "I have handled worse than you." Trump's focus never left her. Folks, what you are about to witness is truly unprecedented. We have 5 distinct rounds, 5 specific examples detailing the biggest phony in Congress. And believe me, trust me, that is saying a lot. We are going to discuss her excessive spending, her lavish lifestyle, the job she killed, the people she hurt, all of it, everything. The studio audience leaned forward simultaneously. This was the moment. This was why they had gathered, for the engagement everyone had been anticipating. It was Trump versus AOC, Queens versus Queens, the billionaire versus the socialist, reality versus delusion. Margaret attempted to interject, stating, "Mr. Trump, if we might merely—" Trump raised one palm, not impolitely, simply a raised hand. "Not right now. We are going to start with the dress, that famous gown, that $35,000 dress, at a time when working people were unable to buy groceries," he declared. However, he primarily turned toward the camera for a direct communication. If you have been waiting for someone to finally expose AOC regarding her double standards, hit that like button immediately and share this. Trust me, you will want your friends to see this because exactly what I'm about to show you, no one has ever seen anything like it. Nobody. He leaned back, relaxed, and smiled that specific Trump grin, the one that appears immediately before something awful happens to someone who likely deserves it. Let us proceed. Trump did not waste a moment. There was no slow buildup, only an immediate assault. That is how he operated. "So picture this," he said, gesturing broadly to illustrate the scenario. "And this is factual, folks. You cannot make this up. The Met Gala. You understand what that is. An elegant party, highly sophisticated in New York. It is intended for wealthy people to celebrate being wealthy. Admission tickets cost a total of $35,000 per person. $35,000. That is more than many folks earn in an entire year." AOC's jaw tensed just slightly, but it was enough. Trump noted it. The cameras caught it. "And AOC appears wearing a dress, a custom-made lovely dress. Honestly, I will grant her that, which declares 'tax the rich' on the back. Tax the rich," he dragged out every word. "At a gathering filled with wealthy individuals who paid $35,000 to attend, including herself. The irony is so thick you could slice it." Using a knife, someone in the crowd chuckled, an uneasy chuckle. Others joined in and the noise grew. Honestly, Trump's timing was impeccable. "You would need one of those fancy knives they use at the Met Gala. Standard knives are not adequate for the socialist socialite." The nickname landed and stuck. You could observe it. AOC's face flushed slightly. Her hands moved from relaxing on the armrest to gripping them, her knuckles turning pale. Trump stood up and began pacing, his energy building. This was his environment, a live audience, cameras recording, and an adversary who could not escape. "But let me tell you something," he said. "Let me tell you this. While AOC was attending that party, wearing that dress, drinking champagne alongside celebrities, millionaires, and billionaires, there were people watching, standard people, working people, people who had sent her money trusting she would fight on their behalf." He stopped pacing, turned to address the audience, and examined the assembly. "How many people here donated to AOC's campaign? Raise your hands. Come on, do not be shy. Raise them slowly." Hands began going up, 1, 2, 5, 10, 20. Additional hands were scattered throughout the crowd, perhaps 40 hands in total. These were donors who had trusted her, who had sent money, and who were about to discover where it went. Trump pointed to them one by one, ensuring the cameras recorded every face. "These individuals, your people, AOC, the specific ones you claim to represent, they sent you money, small contributions, $50, $100, whatever they were able to spare from their earnings, from their savings, money they needed, meant for rent, meant for groceries, meant for their children, and you accepted it. You took those payments, and subsequently you attended the Met Gala." The hands remained raised, 40 individuals, 40 faces, 40 contributors watching her. AOC was unable to look at them, her eyes down, staring at her notes as if they held the mysteries of the universe. "Let me tell you about one of them," Trump said, his tone shifting, becoming softer and more intimate. "Her name is Maria, simply Maria, a single contributor out of thousands. Yet her story, it is everyone's story." He walked into the crowd, though stage regulations normally did not permit it. However, nobody was stopping him. He paused adjacent to an older woman in row 8 who was diminutive and slender, wearing a plain dress with her hands clasped in her lap. "Maria sent AOC $50. Maria is 68 years old and has worked her entire life as a server in Queens, in your district, Alexandria. Maria survives on Social Security currently, $200 per month. After rent, which is $1,800, she has $400 remaining, meant for everything: food, medication, bills, $400. That is it. That is all she possesses." After 40 years of labor, the studio had become entirely quiet. Even the staff stopped moving. The cameras were fixed on Maria, on Trump standing next to her, and on AOC staring at her hands. Therefore, when Maria sent you $50, it was not merely $50. It was groceries meant for a week. It was medication she needed. It was the difference between settling the electric bill on time or paying late penalties. $50 meant everything to Maria. He placed a hand upon Maria's shoulder. It was tender and respectful. Maria's daughter was having a birthday, her 6th birthday. Maria wanted to buy her granddaughter a gift, a doll, the specific one she had been asking for. It cost $35 at Target. However, Maria believed in you, AOC. She trusted you would fight on behalf of people like her. Therefore, Maria sent that $50 intended for the fight. Maria nodded her head, her eyes sparkling, not crying currently, though close to it. 2 months later, Maria watched television, saw you walk into the Met Gala, saw that dress, saw you celebrating alongside the precise individuals you claimed to resist. And do you know what Maria did? Trump looked at AOC. She still refused to meet his eyes. She dialed her daughter and she explained why there was no birthday gift that year, why Grandma was unable to afford the doll because Grandma had sent her money to someone she believed in, someone who pledged to fight on behalf of working people, someone who was too occupied celebrating alongside billionaires to recall where the money came from. The studio exploded. It was not cheering, it was fury, unadulterated fury. Jeering commenced in the back and spread forward, rolling across the crowd like thunder. The 40 contributors with their hands raised, which remained raised, were yelling, "Now where is our money? Return it, you fraud!" AOC's hands moved toward her neck in an instinctive defensive action. Her breathing had changed, becoming shallow and rapid. You could observe her torso rising and falling, panic breathing. Margaret attempted to re-establish control, striking her documents upon the podium. "If we might kindly..." Nobody was paying attention. Trump allowed it to build, allowed the outrage to grow, allowed 400 individuals to absorb the same treachery simultaneously. When he eventually spoke, his voice cut through the chaos like a knife through butter. $35,000 meant for the admission ticket. $35,000 meant for the dress. $70,000 entirely meant for a single evening, while Maria's granddaughter received nothing for her birthday. He walked back towards center stage, standing between AOC and the cameras. You know what is unbelievable? That $70,000 came from individuals like Maria. Minor contributors, your tax-deductible donations, actively working people. Maria's $50 multiplied by 1,400 donations, that is how you purchased that dress. Using their money, using their rent money, using their grocery money, using their children's birthday gift money. AOC attempted to speak, her voice emerging higher than usual, quicker and defensive. It was a statement. I was making a point about fashion acting as protest. Trump's voice oozed with irony. Maria is unable to afford fashion. Maria is barely able to afford food. Yet you accepted her $50 and wore it on your back to a party featuring the individuals you claim to resist. She attempted again, her tone climbing another level. I was invited. It was an opportunity to— Oh, you were invited? Trump's eyes expanded in feigned astonishment. How distinct Maria was, not invited. Maria was working at a diner serving individuals like you, individuals who can afford $35,000 admissions, while you were wearing her granddaughter's birthday gift. AOC's face had turned from flush to a single color receding. She looked to her left, then to her right, searching for assistance, for an exit, for anyone who might make this stop. Nobody came forward. Maria stood up gradually, utilizing the seat in front of her for stability. Trump extended his hand, she accepted it and steadied herself. The cameras located her instantaneously, every lens in the studio focusing intimately. This 70-year-old woman hailing from Queens who had sent $50 and received nothing except a shattered promise. When Maria spoke, her voice was tiny and quiet. Yet every microphone in the studio captured it and transported it to 10 million households. I trusted you. 4 words, that is all. 4 words spoken in a voice that trembled due to emotion, due to betrayal, due to the type of disappointment that originates from believing in someone and discovering they never believed in you. I trusted you. I watched your speeches. I believed you cared about people like me. I sent you money I did not have because I imagined you would use it to help, and you attended a party. She was unable to finish and sat down forcefully. Someone adjacent to her, another elderly woman, an acquaintance perhaps, placed an arm around her shoulders. The studio did not explode this time. It collapsed into something heavier than outrage, into sorrow, into the realization that someone they had trusted had betrayed them in the most fundamental manner conceivable, taking their money and utilizing it for luxury while they struggled. Trump stood there without speaking, allowing it to breathe, allowing everyone to feel it. The significance of what had just been articulated, the ramifications, and the reality. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter but firmer. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, beneath these lights, in the presence of these cameras, in the presence of Maria and everyone who donated to you, a simple question. Did you or did you not attend the Met Gala while working families in your district struggled to pay rent? AOC's voice, when it emerged, was barely above a murmur. The tickets were, it was meant for the museum. Yes or no? Silence for 5 seconds, 10, 15, 20. Yes. Did your dress cost in excess of what the majority of people in Queens earn during a month? I did not pay for it. Yes or no? Yes. Did you use campaign donation money from individuals like Maria to finance your political operation while spending $70,000 on a single evening? Her attorney would have advised her to stop responding, yet she was not thinking about attorneys currently. She was thinking about Maria, considering the 40 contributors with their hands remaining raised, and the 10 million individuals watching her confess the truth. Yes, zombies. Trump turned toward the cameras, toward America, toward everyone watching. That is one scandal, folks. One instance of the socialist socialite taking your money to celebrate alongside the wealthy while you are unable to afford groceries. But wait, there is more. Oh, there is so much more. He opened a binder upon his podium, a substantial binder with fresh evidence, fresh horrors. Let us discuss what she drives, where she resides, how she spends while she lectures you concerning capitalism being evil, while she informs working individuals that they are oppressed, while she preaches concerning income disparity originating from her luxury apartment. "Stop," she said. Her hands were trembling now, visibly trembling and quivering. The cameras captured it, zoomed closer, and broadcast it to millions. Trump grinned that dangerous grin, the specific one that declares, "I am merely commencing." That is round one. The dress, Maria's $50, and your donations financing her lifestyle. If you are among those contributors, if that was your money she spent, share this. Let everyone observe what their contributions purchased, because it was not fighting on behalf of workers. It was fighting on behalf of her image. Continue watching. Trust me, it becomes significantly worse. The crowd roared in endorsement, half of them standing currently applauding and chanting, "Trump, Trump, Trump." The other half, AOC's backers, sat silent, unsure, beginning to doubt. Margaret attempted to call for a commercial break. Nobody was paying attention. Trump just continued proceeding. Trump was pacing again, gathering energy and momentum like a shark that had sensed blood and desired more. "Let me tell you something." His voice filled the studio, not shouting, simply huge and overwhelming. "Let me tell you about the individuals in AOC's district, the individuals she claims to represent, working families, genuine working families. Not the activists, not the socialists hailing from Brooklyn who adore her on Twitter. The actual individuals who reside in Queens, who elected her, who believed her." He stopped pacing and turned to confront AOC directly. "These individuals, they observe you every day. You understand what they observe? They observe what you drive. They observe where you reside. They observe how you spend, and subsequently they hear what you preach. Socialism, income inequality, eat the rich, abolish billionaires, tax wealth out of existence." His tone oozed with irony on every word. "And meanwhile, you are residing like one, well, not precisely a billionaire, yet definitely a millionaire lifestyle on a government salary, while informing working people that capitalism is evil, that their struggles are due to greed, that the system is rigged against them." AOC attempted to interrupt, saying, "I fight on behalf of the people who clean your building." Trump's voice cut through hers like a machete. "The people who maintain your property, the people who serve you at restaurants. They drive aged automobiles, Alexandria, 15-year-old Hondas, 20-year-old Toyotas, whatever remains functional. No AC, corrosion upon the doors, yet it transports them to work. 3 jobs, 4 jobs, whatever it requires to nourish their families." He walked toward her, slow and deliberate. "You know what you drive." She did not answer. She could not answer. A Tesla, a $50,000 Tesla, an electric automobile, very progressive, very environmentally friendly, very hypocritical. The crowd stirred, whispering and processing this, some of AOC's backers appearing uncomfortable, beginning to perceive the pattern. You realize what is incredible in the actual world? The specific one where actual working individuals reside. $50,000 represents 2 years of salary. 2 years. Individuals labor 2 full years to earn what you spent upon a vehicle while you lecture them concerning greed. Trump turned back toward the audience and scanned the assembly. "How many individuals present drive a vehicle worth in excess of $10,000? Raise your hands. Come on." A few hands went upward, perhaps 10 out of 400 individuals. "Observe that," he said, pointing to the sparse hands. "Those are the individuals you represent, the 98% who drive vehicles worth less than 10 grand, and you are in the top 2%, driving a Tesla, informing them capitalism is the problem." He spun back toward AOC, rapid and aggressive, now right in her face. "Let me ask you something. How much did your Tesla cost?" "I required reliable transportation meant for—" "How much?" Her voice emerged small and defeated. 50, approximately 50,000. 50,000, Trump repeated it slowly. And the individuals in your district, the ones who voted for you, what do they drive? She attempted deflection, using that academic tone she employed whenever she believed she was smarter than everyone. This exists as a false equivalence. Transportation requirements vary based upon… No, Trump's tone was flat. Finally, this is called reality. You preach socialism. You inform working people they should vote to redistribute wealth, to take from the wealthy, to create economic equality, and you drive a vehicle worth in excess of what they earn in 2 years. While informing them that vehicles are eliminating the planet unless it is your Tesla, subsequently it is fine. The studio crowd erupted again. It was not merely Trump backers this time. Some of AOC's people were also slowly realizing, beginning to perceive the contradiction that was too obvious to ignore. AOC's breathing had become quicker and shallower. You could hear it over her microphone, that panic breathing, the kind that occurs whenever you comprehend you are cornered and there is no route outward. I deserve success also, the words emerged, defensive, high-pitched, and desperate. I work diligently. I am permitted to… Of course you deserve success, Trump pounced, his voice rising. Under capitalism, the system you desire to destroy, that is the hypocrisy. He turned toward the crowd, arms spread widely. She desires socialism for you, capitalism for herself. She desires to take your wealth and redistribute it. However, her wealth, that is different. She earned that under the system she claims is evil, the system she desires to eliminate for everybody except herself. The jeering commenced again, louder this time, rolling through the studio like a wave. Even some of AOC's backers were not defending her anymore, simply sitting there silent, processing the contradiction. Trump was not finished. You reside in a luxury apartment, $2,600 per month for a 2-bedroom in Navy Yard. Nice neighborhood, very nice. You comprehend what working families inside Queens pay? The identical amount meant for a studio in a dangerous neighborhood featuring broken elevators and leaking pipes. But they pay the same rent you do meant for a tenth of the space in 100 times worse conditions. He walked back towards center stage and stood beneath the lights. You shop at Whole Foods and post about it upon Instagram. Expensive organic food, very healthy, very progressive. Individuals in your district shop at discount stores, dollar stores, whatever is cheapest, because that is what they are able to afford, while you lecture them concerning corporate greed. AOC's hands were gripping the armrest so tightly, her knuckles had become white bone showing through the skin. The cameras captured it intimately. Her face was pale, sweating slightly beneath the studio lights. You wear designer clothes and post photos upon social media. Expensive outfits, fashion choices, very stylish. Working individuals in Queens wear whatever does not possess holes, whatever still fits, whatever they are able to afford from clearance racks, while you preach concerning income inequality. Trump's tone dropped, becoming quieter and increasingly dangerous. The distinction between you and them, they are honest. They comprehend they are struggling. They comprehend the system is hard. Yet they labor regardless, they attempt regardless. They do not blame everybody else for their problems, and they certainly as hell do not pretend to be something they are not. He pointed toward her with direct accusation. You got elected by pretending to be one of them, the bartender from the Bronx, the working-class hero, the voice of the people. And the second you obtained power, you became exactly what you claimed to oppose. Wealthy, entitled, out of touch, residing in luxury while preaching concerning sacrifice for everybody else. AOC attempted to respond. Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again. No words emerged, simply that shallow breathing, that panic, that realization that everything she had built, her entire brand, was being destroyed in real time upon national television in the real world. Trump continued, his voice building again. You do not get to preach concerning income inequality while driving a $50,000 vehicle. You do not get to attack the wealthy while becoming one. You do not get to lecture concerning privilege while residing in privilege. He walked toward her one more time, stopping right in front of her chair. Unless you are AOC, unless you are the socialist socialite, unless you are a fraud who never actually believed any of it. You just utilized it to get elected, to get famous, to get wealthy, while the individuals who believed in you obtained nothing. The studio was upon its feet. Currently, 300 individuals were standing, applauding and roaring. The sound was physical and overwhelming. AOC sat there, shrinking, becoming smaller. The confident activist was gone, replaced simply by a politician caught in lies she could not explain away. Trump looked toward the cameras, toward America. That is 2 rounds, the Met Gala while working people starve, the Tesla while preaching socialism. Your donations financing her luxury lifestyle while she attacks the lifestyle she is living. If you drive a 20-year-old vehicle, if you clip coupons, if you labor at multiple jobs while she lectures you concerning oppression, share this. Allow everybody to observe the real AOC, the one who resides like the elite while attacking the elite, unless she is the elite. Subsequently, it is different. He opened another binder, thicker than the previous 2 combined. Now let us discuss the job she killed, the family she destroyed, the opportunities she eliminated, 25,000 of them all gone because AOC required Twitter likes. AOC's face had gone beyond pale, almost gray. She looked toward her staff, toward anyone begging, utilizing her eyes for someone to make this stop. Nobody could. Trump just continued proceeding. Trump's energy shifted. Less sarcasm now, more outrage. Genuine outrage. The kind that originates from seeing something genuinely destructive and desiring everybody else to observe it also. Let me tell you concerning the most idiotic thing I have ever witnessed in politics. His voice filled every corner of the studio, and believe me, I have witnessed a lot of idiotic things. Yet this takes the cake. This is special. He picked up a paper from his podium and held it upward. Amazon desired to come to New York, to Queens, to AOC's district, build a headquarters, create jobs, real jobs, good jobs, 25,000 jobs. He allowed that number to sit there to breathe and grow. 25,000. Consider that. Not 25,000, not 25,000, anything else. 25,000 jobs, 25,000 families obtaining paychecks, 25,000 individuals obtaining health care, 25,000 opportunities meant for better lives. Trump set the paper down and started pacing again. And AOC, the socialist socialite, Sandy from the Bronx, the bartender billionaire, she declared, no, she killed it. She celebrated with a party upon Twitter. We stopped Amazon, as if she had won something, as if she had accomplished something, as if destroying 25,000 jobs existed as a victory. The audience stirred. Even some AOC backers looked uncomfortable. This was documented, public, and undeniable. You comprehend who lost? Trump's voice rose. The 25,000 individuals who required those jobs, the families who applied, the single parents laboring in retail who could have obtained careers, the young people stuck in dead-end jobs who could have obtained opportunities, the middle-aged workers downsized from other companies who could have obtained second chances. He stopped pacing and turned to face AOC directly. All of them gone. Because you desired to appear tough. Because socialists in Brooklyn were watching. Because you required to score political points utilizing progressives who have never struggled a day inside their lives. AOC attempted to mount a defense, her tone shaking. Amazon refused to pay fair, $85,000. Trump's voice exploded, not yelling, simply massive and overwhelming. $85,000, that is what those jobs paid. Individuals in your district earn $30,000. You just denied them a $55,000 raise for what? She stammered and attempted again. We cannot permit corporations who is we? Trump cut her off, his voice resembling a blade. You decided, not we. You, the people who required those jobs, they were not asked. They were not consulted. You decided they did not require opportunities. You decided Twitter likes were more important than their families' futures. He turned toward the audience and scanned the assembly. How many individuals present applied for Amazon jobs or knew someone who did? Raise your hands. Slowly, hands started rising 1, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. More were scattered throughout the audience, perhaps 60 total. Individuals who had applied, who had hoped, who had believed Amazon would give them a chance. The cameras panned across them, located their countenances, and captured their expressions: outrage, betrayal, and loss. Trump pointed toward them, making sure AOC saw, making sure America saw. Observe that. Those are the individuals you hurt. Not Amazon, not Jeff Bezos, them. Real individuals from your district who voted for you, who believed you would aid them, and you killed their opportunities for tweets. One man stood upward, middle-aged, Hispanic, wearing a button-down shirt, his voice shaking with emotion. I applied for operations manager, $80,000. I was going to move my family outward from our apartment, better neighborhood, better schools for my kids. Others stood one by one all over the audience. I applied meant for tech support, could have started a career. I applied meant for warehouse supervisor, would have obtained my daughter off food stamps. I applied meant for customer service, first real job opportunity in 5 years. Their voices overlapped and built upon each other, a chorus of lost opportunities, of destroyed hopes, of families still struggling because AOC had decided their jobs were not important. Trump allowed it to build, allowed them to speak, allowed AOC to hear every single one. When the voices finally died down, he spoke quietly, yet every word carried. 25,000 families, not a statistic, not a number, individuals. Parents who could have afforded better schools, single mothers who could have stopped laboring 3 jobs, young people who could have started careers, immigrants, legal immigrants who could have built better lives. He walked toward the section of audience members still standing and stood among them. And you killed it. For what? For applause from individuals who do not require jobs, for praise from activists who have never worried concerning rent, for Twitter followers who think opposing corporations makes you brave. His voice built, getting louder, filling the studio. You realize what is incredible concerning AOC? She has never created a job, not one, never ran a business, never made payroll, never worried concerning keeping employees working, never struggled to meet regulations, never built anything. Yet she knows better than Amazon, Jeff Bezos, than everyone who has actually created jobs. He turned back to face her. She was crying currently, openly crying, tears streaming down her face. Mascara was running. The confident activist was completely gone. She knows you do not require those jobs. She knows your families do not require opportunities. She knows your kids do not require better schools. Because she does not require any of that. She has obtained hers under capitalism. The system she desires to destroy meant for everybody except herself. The chanting started low at first, just a few voices. Where are the jobs? Then more voices joined. Where are the jobs? Then everyone in the whole section, 60 individuals, all standing, all chanting, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? AOC placed her hands over her ears, attempting to block it out, attempting to make it cease. Yet it did not cease. It got louder, the sound rolling through the studio like thunder. Trump just stood there and allowed it to happen, allowed her to hear it, allowed America to hear it. The sound of individuals whose futures she had destroyed, asking where their opportunities went. When the chanting finally died down, it took almost a full minute. Trump walked back towards center stage. There will exist other opportunities. That is what she declared after killing the Amazon deal. There will exist other opportunities. Well, guess what? There were not. Those 60 individuals are still looking, still struggling, still laboring in jobs that pay a third of what Amazon would have paid. Still residing inside apartments they desired to escape. Still sending kids to schools they desired to leave. He looked directly into the nearest camera, at America, at everybody watching. Because AOC decided, not them, her. And they are the ones who paid the price, while she drives her Tesla and resides in her luxury apartment and preaches about fighting on behalf of workers by taking away their work. AOC was attempting to say something, her mouth moving yet no sound was coming out. Simply that breathing, that panic, that realization of complete exposure. Trump opened another binder, even thicker. 3 rounds down, 2 to go. And folks, if you required one of those Amazon jobs, if you know someone who did, if you are still struggling because some bartender from Queens decided Twitter likes were more important than your family's future, share this. Allow everybody to observe what fighting on behalf of workers really means to her. Spoiler alert, it means taking away their work. He pulled out papers, photos, and evidence. Now let us discuss her grandmother, concerning Puerto Rico, concerning fake stories and real suffering, concerning utilizing your own family for fundraising, concerning $100,000 that went somewhere nobody knows where yet. We are going to ask, and she is going to answer, or attempt to. AOC's face had gone beyond pale, beyond gray, almost green, sickly looking. Her hands were trembling so badly they were visible on camera from across the studio. Margaret attempted to call another break. We should perhaps know pauses. She did not give those families a pause. Trump's tone was final. She does not get one either. Let us discuss Abuela. Trump's voice altered again. The outrage was still there, yet different currently, colder. The type of cold that originates from seeing something morally bankrupt and desiring everybody else to observe it also. Now, this one, he shook his head, this one crosses a line even for Congress, even for politicians, even for AOC. Utilizing your own grandmother for political fundraising, exploiting your family for money, that is low, really low. He picked up a photo and held it upward so the cameras could observe. This is a picture AOC posted upon social media, her grandmother's house in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Looks bad, right? Looks destroyed. Looks like someone who requires aid. He set it down, picked up another photo. This is a picture a journalist took. Identical house, identical time, different angle. House is fine, roof is good, walls are solid, everything intact. Grandmother is not inside crisis. She is not suffering. The house is not destroyed. He set both photos down side by side. The contrast was impossible to miss. So what happened? Simple. AOC required a story, required to look as if she cared concerning Puerto Rico, required to raise money, so she exaggerated. She lied. She utilized her own grandmother acting as a prop, posted sad pictures, declared the house existed as destroyed, declared Abuela existed as suffering, and individuals sent money, over $100,000 to aid. The studio had become completely quiet. Even the anti-AOC people looked uncomfortable currently. This was different. This was family. This was fraud. Trump's tone got quieter and increasingly dangerous. Except the grandmother did not require aid. The house existed as fine. So where did that $100,000 go? He allowed the inquiry to hang there. 5 seconds, 10, 15. Nobody answered because nobody knew. Anyone know? Because I would adore to hear this explanation. AOC attempted to speak, her tone barely audible. Various Puerto Rican causes. Which causes? Trump's voice exploded. Show us the receipts. Where's the accounting? Where's the transparency? You raised money meant for your grandmother who did not require it. Where did it go? She could not answer. She sat there silent, tears streaming faster. Currently, Trump was not finished. You know who did require aid? Real Puerto Rican families. Real ones. Individuals who actually lost everything in Hurricane Maria who are still homeless 4 years later, still residing in unsafe conditions, still struggling, still waiting for aids that never came. He gestured broadly, encompassing everyone. Real families watched your campaign, watched you post concerning your grandmother, watched individuals send money, and they imagined, finally someone who understands. Finally someone who will aid. Finally someone from Congress who cares concerning Puerto Rico. His tone oozed with disgust. Then they found out it was fake. Your grandmother existed as fine. The house existed as fine. The money went somewhere nobody knows where yet. It certainly did not go toward the families who actually required it. Trump walked toward the side of the stage where audience members sat who had been quiet until currently. He gestured toward a section. How many individuals present are from Puerto Rico or have family affected by Hurricane Maria? Hands up? Perhaps 20 hands went upward, dispersed throughout the audience. Puerto Rican community members, individuals featuring connections toward the island, individuals who knew what real hurricane damage looked like. Did any of you get aid from AOC's fundraising? Anyone? Heads were shaking in a universal negative. Not one person got aid? Of course not. Because the money was not meant for you, it was meant for her, her image, her brand, her political career. She utilized her grandmother, utilized Hurricane Maria, utilized your community's suffering to raise money meant for we still do not know what. One woman stood, her Puerto Rican accent angry. My family lost everything, everything. House gone, business gone. We got nothing while she raised money off a fake story. Others stood, their voices rising. Our neighborhood is still destroyed. 4 years later, still no real aid. She utilized us, utilized our pain. Their outrage existed as different from earlier rounds, more personal, more hurt. This was not concerning politics or economics. This was concerning community, concerning family, concerning utilizing other people's tragedy meant for personal gain. AOC had her face inside her hands currently, her shoulders shaking, sobbing. These were not defensive tears, not political tears, but real ones, the kind that originate from being exposed to acting as something you never desired to admit you were. Trump allowed the Puerto Rican voices to build, allowed them to express their outrage, allowed AOC to hear what utilizing people's suffering meant for fundraising actually costs. When the voices finally quieted, he spoke again quietly, yet every word cut. You raised over $100,000 meant for a grandmother who did not require it. While real families, families inside this audience, families still inside Puerto Rico, families still struggling got nothing. And when journalists caught you, when they proved the story was fake, you did not apologize. You did not return the money. You did not explain where it went. He walked back towards center stage. You just moved onward, posted something else, found another outrage to tweet concerning, forgot concerning your grandmother, forgot concerning Puerto Rico, forgot concerning the individuals whose donations you took under false pretenses. AOC attempted to speak, her voice completely broken currently, barely audible. I attempted to. The situation existed as, Trump cut her off. Not aggressive, just final. You committed fraud. Let us call it what it is. You raised money meant for one thing, spent it upon another, or did not spend it at all. Nobody knows. That is fraud in the real world, in the business world. Individuals go to jail for that. Yet you are inside Congress, so you just get reelected, or you used to before tonight. He picked up another binder, the final one. 4 rounds, the Met Gala, the Tesla, the Amazon jobs, the grandmother fraud. 1 more to go, and this one is concerning your big plan, your Green New Deal. The $93 trillion fantasy that would destroy millions of jobs, including businesses that have existed meant for generations. Family businesses, American businesses, all gone. Because a bartender from Queens who has never ran a business decided she knows how to run the economy. AOC was completely broken currently, her head downward. She cannot look at anyone, cannot speak, cannot defend, just sitting there destroyed, exposed, finished. The audience was upon its feet, not all of them, not the AOC backers, yet most, standing, waiting meant for the final blow, the knockout punch. Trump smiled that dangerous smile. Let us finish this. Trump's energy came back full force, almost gleeful currently, as if he existed as about to deliver the punchline to the longest joke inside American political history. Okay, he clapped his hands together. Let us discuss the Green New Deal, AOC's masterpiece, her big solution toward climate change, her plan to save America, save the planet, save everything. He paused, meant for effect. 93 trillion. The way he said it, stretching it out, making every syllable count, featuring a trillion. That is not million, not billion, trillion, 93 of them. That is more money than exists like inside the world, more money than has ever existed inside the history of money. Yet AOC has got a plan for it. He walked toward AOC. She would not look upward, just sat there broken. She desires to eliminate oil, all of it, gone. Gas, coal, every fossil fuel, banned. She desires to retrofit every building in America, every single one. Make them green, make them sustainable, whatever that means. And she desires to do it inside 10 years. Trump stopped walking and laughed, a genuine laugh at the absurdity. 10 years. I have built buildings. I know construction. You know how long it takes just to get permits, to file the paperwork, to deal utilizing regulations? Years. Actual years. Yet AOC is going to rebuild every building in America inside 10 years, sure. The audience laughed using him, even some AOC backers. The plan existed as too ridiculous not to laugh at. And it gets better. Oh, it gets so much better. You know what else she desired to ban inside the original plan? He paused, meant for dramatic effect. Cows. Cows. I am not making this up, because cows produce methane, which exists as bad meant for the environment. So the solution, eliminate cows, get rid of them. I do not know what we are supposed to eat or what happens toward dairy, yet the cows have to go. More laughter, louder. Currently, even Margaret existed as attempting not to smile. This is who you elected, Queens. A bartender who desires to eliminate cows utilizing a $93 trillion plan that would require inventing money that does not exist to solve a problem by creating worse problems. That exists as your congresswoman. Trump's tone shifted, less humor currently, more serious. Yet here is what is not funny. Here is what is actually tragic. You know who pays the price meant for fantasy plans? Real individuals, real businesses, real families who have built something over generations. He turned toward the audience. How many individuals present own businesses or labor meant for small businesses? Massive response. Perhaps 100 hands went upward, a quarter of the audience. Under AOC's Green New Deal, how many of those businesses would survive? Every hand went downward, every single one. Exactly zero, none, because her plan makes your equipment illegal, your process is illegal, your entire way of doing business illegal overnight. All the investment you made, worthless. All the training, useless. All the expertise you built over years, decades, generations, gone. A man stood upward, older, 60-some, his voice thick, utilizing emotion. My family has an HVAC company. My grandfather started at 60 years, 3 generations. All our equipment would be illegal. We would have to spend $800,000 to retrofit. We do not possess $800,000. We would have to close. 20 employees, all unemployed. Trump pointed toward him, making sure the cameras got him. That is the real cost of AOC's fantasy, not $93 trillion inside made-up currency, real individuals losing real businesses, 3 generations of work gone because someone who has never ran a business decided she knows how to regulate them outward among existence. More individuals stood all over the audience. Manufacturing company, 4th generation, cannot meet the requirements. Construction firm, equipment too old, would have to close. Trucking business, vehicles would be banned, 40 families unemployed. Their voices built upon each other, a chorus among small businesses that would be destroyed, family operations ended, generations of work eliminated. All meant for a plan that could not work, that would not work, that was never meant to work. Trump allowed them to speak, allowed AOC to hear every single one, allowed America to see the real cost of socialist fantasy. When the voices died down, he turned back toward AOC. You have never created a job, have you? She did not answer, could not answer. Never ran a business, never made payroll, never worried concerning regulations, never struggled to keep employees working, never built anything, yet you know exactly how to destroy everything these individuals built. He walked toward his podium, picked up papers, and held them upward. You know what? This exists as your FAQ document. The one you posted utilizing the Green New Deal, the one you deleted when individuals started asking questions. When economists started laughing, when business owners started panicking. Trump read from it slowly, making sure everyone heard. Quote, "We are not sure how to pay for it." Your words. Not sure how to pay for $93 trillion. Imagine that. He flipped a page. Quote, "Implementation details are unclear." Your words. Unclear how to actually do any of it, just that it sounds good. Another page. Quote, "Timeline may not be feasible." May not be feasible. That is your way of saying impossible. 10 years to rebuild America is impossible, yet you proposed it anyway. He set the papers down. You posted this, your FAQ, your admissions. Then you deleted it because even you knew it existed as stupid. Even you knew it could not work. Even you knew it existed as a fantasy. Yet you proposed it anyway because it sounds good toward individuals who do not understand economics or math or reality. Trump's voice rose, building toward the climax. And you know what? The worst part exists as the absolute worst part. You do not care that it cannot work. You do not care that it would destroy millions of jobs. You do not care that it would bankrupt America. You do not care because you never intended it to pass. You just desired applause. He pointed toward her, accusatory. Applause from environmentalists, from socialists, from progressives who have never labored a real job, from individuals who think destroying businesses makes you brave, from Twitter followers who do not understand that jobs matter more than likes. The audience erupted in a standing ovation. Everyone, even some of AOC's former backers, the evidence too overwhelming, the hypocrisy too obvious, the fantasy too exposed. AOC sat there, head downward, completely still, not crying anymore, beyond crying, just empty, broken, destroyed. Everything she had built, her entire political brand, demolished inside less than 2 hours upon live television. Trump stood center stage under the lights, victorious. That is all 5, folks. 5 scandals, 5 lies, 5 categories among victims. The Met Gala while small donors starve. The Tesla while preaching socialism, killing Amazon jobs. Fundraising fraud. Green New Deal fantasy that would destroy millions among businesses. He looked directly into the camera, at America, at 10 million individuals watching. That is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That is the socialist socialite. That is who Queen's elected. A fraud, a hypocrite, someone who preaches one thing and lives another, someone who takes from working individuals to fund her luxury lifestyle, someone who destroys jobs while claiming to fight on behalf of workers, someone who utilizes her own family for fundraising, someone who proposes plans she knows cannot work just to get applause. He paused, allowing it to sink inside. Share this everywhere. Subscribe, comment, tell everyone you know. Because this exists as what socialism really looks like. Not equality, not fairness, not aiding individuals. This exists as what it really is, elites residing in luxury while preaching sacrifice toward everybody else. That is AOC. That is the squad. That is the whole movement. The audience roared, chanting, "Trump!" AOC still sat there motionless, defeated, finished. Margaret attempted to wrap upward. "We should thank our—" But nobody was paying attention. The damage was done, the exposure complete, the confrontation over. Trump had won, America had watched, and nobody would forget. The video went viral before the show even ended. 30 million views inside the first hour, 60 million by morning, 100 million by the end among the week. AOC exposed trending #1 worldwide, socialist socialite becoming a permanent nickname. Queen's 5 Cs, Queen's capturing the entire confrontation, every clip, every moment, every devastating exchange. Conservative media went into celebration mode. Fox News ran the footage upon loop. Tucker Carlson devoted an entire show to analysis. Sean Hannity called it the greatest political takedown inside American history. Laura Ingraham played the Met Gala section 3 times. The audience numbers were massive, record-breaking. Liberal media attempted to defend her, but could not. The footage existed as too damaging, the victims too real, the evidence too clear. CNN ran segments titled Problematic Moments, yet even their talking heads struggled. MSNBC attempted to focus upon Trump's tone instead among AOC's actions. It did not work. By the next day, even they had moved onward, left her to sink alone. AOC's office stopped answering phones by midnight. Too many calls, too much outrage, voicemail full. Within an hour, the system crashed. By morning, it was overwhelmed by the volume among constituents demanding an explanation, demanding resignation, demanding accountability. The squad was silent. Not one tweet among support, not one statement among defense, not one appearance together. Omar posted something vague concerning unity without naming AOC, then retweeted environmental news. Presley went dark completely. The solidarity existed as fake, always had existed as, and now everyone knew. Nancy Pelosi's office released one sentence. The Congresswoman speaks for herself. Translation, she been pawn her own. Good luck. You are going to require it. By morning, AOC had deleted the Twitter app from her phone. She could not handle the notifications. The mockery, the shame, thousands of tweets per minute. All brutal, all accurate, all permanent. Instagram went next. Too many comments, too many individuals pointing out her luxury lifestyle inside every photo, every designer outfit, every expensive meal, every contradiction exposed. Her approval rating inside Queens dropped overnight from 64% to 33%, a 31-point collapse inside hours. The fastest political implosion inside New York history. Polls showed her losing the primary by 28 points to anyone. Literally, anyone who challenged her would win. The primary challenger announced at midnight, did not wait, struck while the iron existed as hot. Not another activist, not another progressive, an actual worker, a union member, an electrician born inside Queens, raised inside Queens, still lived inside Queens. Inside a normal apartment, driving a normal vehicle, residing a normal life. His slogan, a real worker versus the fake socialist. His first ad, clips from the debate, AOC's Tesla versus his Ford pickup, her luxury apartment versus his rental, her designer clothes versus his work uniform, her Met Gala versus his union hall. The contrast was devastating. Fundraising exploded. $3 million inside the first month. All small donors, individuals giving $20, $50, whatever they could afford. The money that used to go toward AOC now going toward her opponent. Poetic justice. Early polling showed him leading by 18 points within 2 weeks, 22 points by the end among the month, 26 points. The lead was growing as more individuals saw the debate, as more individuals learned the truth, as more individuals realized they had existed as lied toward. Maria, the one donor Trump had spotlighted, became a national figure. Conservative groups raised money meant for her, $50,000 inside a week. More than she would make inside 2 years. She bought a house. Actually bought it. Small house inside Queens. Nothing fancy, yet hers, paid inside full. The American dream realized by individuals AOC claimed to represent, yet never did. Maria became a spokesperson meant for the Donors Deceived movement, appeared upon every conservative show, Fox News, Newsmax, conservative podcasts. Her message was consistent. I believed in her. She believed in my money. Never again. Her story became a symbol of progressive hypocrisy, elderly woman sacrificing meant for a politician who utilized it for luxury. The contradiction was too perfect, too obvious, too viral. Working individuals inside AOC's district organized, real workers, not activists, not socialists, individuals who cleaned buildings and drove trucks and worked construction. The individuals she claimed to represent, yet never did. They formed a coalition backing the primary challenger. Voter registration was upward 40% inside Queens, all against her. The 25,000 families affected by Amazon formed their own group, Jobs AOC Killed. It existed as called blunt, accurate, devastating. They documented every person who applied, every family that needed work, every opportunity destroyed. The evidence was overwhelming. Other companies announced Queens expansions, smaller than Amazon, yet something. 5,000 jobs created by businesses wanting to prove they cared concerning Queens workers more than AOC did. The contrast was stark, her obstruction versus others' progress. Puerto Rican community leaders called for her resignation, a formal statement, public and brutal. She exploited our suffering meant for personal gain. She raised money off a fake story while real families got nothing. She does not represent us. She never did. Community organizing against her, a bilingual campaign, Spanish and English, churches involved, community centers, local businesses, all turning against her. Her name became toxic. AOC toxic inside neighborhoods that elected her. The betrayal was too personal, the fraud too obvious. Small business owners across Queens organized. A Business Owners Against AOC coalition formed, endorsed the primary challenger en masse. Documented every regulation she proposed that would hurt them, created jobs to spite her, proving what actual job creation looked like, what actually aiding workers meant. The Chamber of Commerce issued formal opposition, not just to her policies, but to her, the first time they had ever opposed a specific candidate. Yet the Green New Deal threat existed as too real, the danger too obvious. They could not stay neutral anymore. Progressive organizations started distancing. Democratic Socialists of America released a statement. We support democratic socialism, not hypocrisy. Translation, she is making us look bad. We are out. Major donors cut ties publicly, utilizing statements explaining why. Her fundraising collapsed from millions toward thousands. Nobody desired association. Nobody desired the taint. Her staff quit. A mass exodus. The campaign manager resigned via Twitter, would not even call her. Chief of staff gone by morning, press secretary by afternoon, policy director by evening. Within 72 hours, 3 individuals were left, 3 individuals running her entire operation. Everyone else fled, resumes going outward looking meant for any other work. Anything yet association utilizing AOC. Her office inside Queens closed temporarily meant for renovations, the sign declared. Translation, she is hiding, cannot face constituents, cannot answer questions, cannot defend herself. Her office inside D.C., she showed upward to vote, ran from cameras. No statements, no interviews, no explanations, just votes and escape. Other members avoided her inside hallways, did not desire to be seen together, did not desire the association. Committee assignments under review, Democrats desired her gone off committees, outward of leadership, away from cameras, as invisible as possible until the primary ended her career, naturally speaking. Invitations were canceled, all among them. Universities did not desire protests. Organizations did not desire controversy. Events did not desire a boycott. She existed as toxic, untouchable, radioactive, book deal canceled. The publisher cited changing market conditions. Translation, nobody desires to read this anymore. The brand exists as dead. The story exists as over. Netflix documentary concerning her canceled. Creative differences, they declared. Translation, this would lose money now. The narrative changed. The hero became the villain. Cannot sell that. Trump victory tour, every show, every platform, every interview talking concerning the debate, concerning AOC, concerning socialism, concerning reality versus fantasy. His approval ratings climbed, 71% nationally, 89% among Republicans. Presidential speculation intensified. An exploratory committee was announced. That is what happens when socialism meets reality, he declared upon Hannity. When fantasy meets facts, when Twitter likes meet real life. Queens taught the bartender a lesson, a Louisiana lesson, a Trump lesson. Do not lie toward individuals concerning who you are, because eventually someone is going to call you outward upon national television inside front of 10 million individuals, and then it is over. The phrase caught onward. Do not allow Trump to pull an AOC upon you became a warning among Democrats. Every progressive terrified among similar exposure, every socialist checking their own lifestyle meant for contradictions, every activist making sure their story held upward under scrutiny. AOC had not appeared publicly since the debate, 3 weeks. No appearances, no statements, no nothing. Just silence. The confident activist was completely gone, just a broken politician waiting meant for the inevitable end. Primary polling showed her losing by 32 points. Internal numbers were worse. The campaign knew it, staff knew it, she knew it. Loss inevitable, career over, just a matter of time. She looked meant for an exit strategy. Post-Congress, career options were limited. Nobody desired her. Universities declared no. Companies declared no. Organizations declared no. Even progressive groups passed. The brand was too damaged, the reputation too destroyed. Rumored Netflix deal fell through. Book publishers would not return calls. Speaking agents stopped answering. She existed as alone, completely alone. Everything she had built was gone, destroyed inside 2 hours upon live television by simple questions and obvious evidence. The socialist socialite nickname stuck permanently, utilized by everyone, even other progressives, even former allies. It captured everything, the hypocrisy, the fraud, the contradiction, residing like the elite while preaching equality, getting wealthy off capitalism while attacking capitalism. Luxury lifestyle funded by working-class donors who struggled. Her Wikipedia page was updated within hours. No longer a rising star, no longer a progressive champion, no longer a squad member, just former U.S. representative lost primary, following televised debate known for controversial policies and lifestyle contradictions, and that existed as her legacy. Former controversial contradictions, nothing else would be remembered. The Green New Deal forgotten, the squad disbanded, the movement fractured. All that remained existed as the fraud exposed, the fake revealed, the socialist socialite unmasked. Political obituaries were written while she still held office. The rise and fall of AOC became a common headline. Articles analyzed what went wrong, where she failed, how she lost touch. Yet they all missed the point. She did not lose touch. She never had it. The bartender from the Bronx existed as always fake. The working-class hero existed as always a fraud. The voice among the people existed as always the voice among herself. It just took Trump, queens meeting queens, to expose it. Maria lived to see vindication, got her house, got her justice, got her voice back, spent her remaining years as a conservative folk hero, always telling the identical story, always ending the identical way. I gave $50 to fight on behalf of working individuals. It ended upward buying her a Met Gala ticket instead. Best $50 I ever spent, though, because it exposed her. The individuals who needed Amazon jobs, some found work, others are still looking, yet they organized, they mobilized, they made sure the next representative understood. Jobs matter, opportunity matters. Twitter likes do not feed families, and politicians who forget that do not get second chances. The Puerto Rican community rebuilt without her. Other representatives helped. Real aid came through. Real families got real assistance. The community remembered who actually helped versus who just fundraised off fake stories. Remembered who showed upward versus who showed off. Small businesses survived despite her in spite among her because that exists as what small businesses do. They survive, they adapt, they endure. And when the Green New Deal died, which it did immediately and completely, they breathed easier. Built more, hired more, proved what actual job creation looked like. Trump utilized the victory as a launching point. Presidential campaign inside full swing. The debate footage in every ad, the confrontation at every rally, the exposure at every speech. That is what I will do towards socialism became his message. Facts, evidence, reality, that is how you beat fantasy. It worked. Polling showed him leading every Democrat, including primary challengers, including incumbents. The debate proved he could dismantle progressive arguments, could expose hypocrisy, could connect utilizing working individuals, could deliver a simple message: reality beats fantasy, always. But the real victory existed as not Trump's. It existed as realities. Facts beat feelings, evidence beat narrative, truth beat lies. Working individuals beat fake advocates. Queens, real queens, working individuals, queens beat queens, the faker. The lesson spread beyond politics, beyond AOC, beyond one debate. It became cultural, moral, simple. You cannot preach one thing and live another. You cannot attack wealth while accumulating it. You cannot claim to represent workers while destroying their opportunities. You cannot utilize people's suffering meant for personal gain. You cannot propose fantasies as solutions. You cannot expect individuals to stay fooled forever. Eventually, someone asks simple questions. Eventually, evidence emerges. Eventually, truth matters. Eventually, reality wins. That exists as what happened toward AOC. Simple questions, obvious evidence, clear truth. Reality defeating fantasy upon national television inside front of 10 million individuals, permanently and completely. Finally, the socialist socialite learned what happens when queens meets queens. When working individuals meet someone pretending to be working individuals. When donors meet someone spending their donations upon luxury. When reality meets fraud. Truth wins, reality wins, working individuals win, America wins. And the bartender who thought she could fake her way toward power learned the hard way. You cannot fake forever. Not when someone exists as willing to ask simple questions. Not when evidence exists as clear. Not when 10 million individuals exist as watching. She got exposed, destroyed, finished, and everyone saw it happen live, inside real time. Utilizing no excuses, no escape, no second chances, that exists as justice, real justice, the kind that happens when truth matters more than narrative, when facts matter more than feelings, when reality matters more than fantasy. AOC learned it the hard way. Queens taught her. Trump delivered the lesson. America watched, and nobody forgot. The socialist socialite got schooled, and school existed as permanent, folks. If watching Trump destroy AOC utilizing simple facts gave you even half the satisfaction it gave Maria and those Amazon families and those Puerto Rican communities and those small business owners, smash that like button right now. Share this everywhere. Tweet it, post it, send it toward every socialist you know who thinks feelings matter more than facts. Allow them to see what happens when reality meets fantasy, when business meets bartending, when queens meets queens, when someone who has actually built something confronts someone who has only destroyed things. Comment below. Should AOC resign? Should she be investigated? What should happen next? Because America exists as watching, working individuals exist as watching, and we exist as not forgetting. And subscribe because, trust me, there exist as plenty more where she came from. Bernie, Ilhan, the whole squad, they exist as all hiding the identical contradictions, residing the identical lies, preaching the identical fantasies while residing different realities. This exists as just round one among the Trump exposure tour. We exist as just getting started, and after what you just watched, you know exactly how it ends. Utilizing truth, utilizing reality, utilizing facts, utilizing working individuals obtaining justice, utilizing frauds getting exposed, utilizing socialists getting schooled. That exists as what we deliver every time. No exceptions, no excuses. See you inside the next one, and trust me, it exists as going to exist as even better. Justice does not sleep.